Section 1 of Take It From Dad. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Lee Smalley. Take It From Dad by George G. Livermore. Section 1. Letters of September 25th to October 15th. Lynn, Mass., September 25th, 19-something. Dear Ted, your letter asking me if I think you are a failure at school and wanting to know whether I can give you a job in the factory came this morning. Yes to the first, and I can but I won't to the second. I didn't send you to Exeter to have you leave in a week, and as for the factory, I guess it can stagger along a couple of years more without you, although I sure do appreciate your wanting to work. It's so different from anything else you have ever wanted. And as Lou Dockstader once said, variety is the spice of vaudeville. Sure, Exeter is a rotten place in the fall, when it rains 8 days a week, and there's nothing except soggy leaves and mud everywhere, and a continuously weeping sky that's about as cheerful as the Germans at the peace table. You don't know anyone well enough yet to say 3 words to, and your teachers seem to be playing a continual run of luck, by always calling on you for the part of the lesson you haven't learned. Sure, it's rotten, not Exeter, but what's the matter with you? It begins with an H and ends with a K, but like other diseases, lockjaw excepted, and you'll never have that anyway, it's just as well to catch it young and get it over with. Then, too, I guess you're beginning to realize that the leader of the Lynn High School Glee Club and left end of the football team isn't so big a frog after all, when he gets into a puddle with 500 other boys, most of whom never heard of Lynn. Your learning this young is a blessing which you don't appreciate now. I had to wait until I took that trip to Binghamton with the Masons. I thought till then I was some pumpkins of a shoemaker grinding out 8,000 pairs a day, 11 with 2 shifts, but when I moseyed through Welt and Toplifts and saw them make 50,000 pairs without batting an eye, I realized I had been looking at myself through the wrong end of the telescope. Say, Ted, did I ever tell you about the time your grandfather and grandmother went to the Philadelphia Exposition and left me at Uncle Nate's? You never saw Uncle Nate, but I don't know as you need feel peeved about it. Anyway, Uncle Nate had whiskers like a Bolshevik and catarrh. He was a powerful conscientious man, except in a horse sticker, when he shed his religion like a snake does his skin. Uncle Nate lived over at Epping Four Corners, 6 miles from our farm, and owing to his judgment of horse flesh, he was about as popular there as General Pershing would be at a Red meeting. I landed at Uncle Nate's at noon, and by 6 o'clock he had asked me 4 times if I was a good boy, and I could tell by the look in his eye that he'd ask me that a dozen times more before I went to bed. Along about 7 it began to grow dark, and I began to miss my mother. Uncle Nate sat in a rocking chair in the dining room with his feet on the stove, chewing fine cut and reading a farm journal, and I sat in a small chair with my feet on the floor, reading the Pruno Almanac and chewing my fingers. He said nothing, and I said the same. After a while I got so blame lonesome I stole out on the back steps and stood there wishing I was dead or in jail, or something equally pleasant. Gosh all hemlock, I was homesick. Then I remembered Sandy, our hired man, was still at the farm. I pointed my nose toward home and skedaddled, and, believe me, I went some until I hit the woods just below the Intervale, where the wind was soughing through those tall pines like invisible fingers plucking on old Nick's harp. It sure was the lonesomest place I had ever been in. But the thought of Uncle Nate drove me on until I came to where the old Shaker graveyard runs close to the road. I'd forgotten the graveyard until just as I got up to it a white shapeless figure jumped into the road and ran toward me, waving its arms. Old Von Kluck did a turning movement before Paris, but it had nothing on me. I turned, and believe me, son, I went back to Uncle Nate's so fast I almost met myself coming away. I slid into the house like a dog that's just come from killing sheep and found the old gentleman asleep in his chair. When he awoke, he saw I'd been a good boy not to disturb his nap.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?